Hi, this is Lisa, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you guys how to scale your materials in SketchUp so you get the most realistic look for your design. Now you guys recognize this little model. This is the one we did in assignment 2 for week 2. Real simple little room model. One of the things I'm sure you've already discovered is that there isn't a floor on this model, so the first thing we have to do is we have to put in a little floor. And I'm just going to draw a face on the bottom, and all I have to do to define that face is to draw one line along one side. I just chose that side randomly, and it draws me a face. And you can see it's all the way across the bottom. It's exactly the way it's supposed to be, and it's a good starting point for us to work with. Okay, my next step is going to be to look at the actual materials that we're going to use for this project. Now what I've done is I've taken some stuff from sites that you guys have come up with. So here you can see I have a smoked ash sequoia plank. It's a very, very light color. I think it's going to look good with our design. I've already downloaded my image into a folder on my computer. But what I'm looking for here is the size of this. And you can see here it says that each plank is 4 inches by 36 inches. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my guide. I'm going to grab hold of that edge and come in 4 inches. I'm going to grab hold of this edge and I'm going to come in 36 inches. And then I'm going to go to my File menu. Which is right here someplace. Now I'm going to go to my File menu and I'm going to do Import, just like we're supposed to here. And you see, there is my ash plank. I'm going to grab it. I'm going to put it right here on this intersection, and then I'm going to click here. Voila! I have a bunch of ash planks. Okay. Now then, let's go back. Let's undo that so we can see it again. Edit, undo. Let's do Import. Click that. Notice that I've got Use as Texture. Okay. And I'm just going to click here. Okay. Now I'm going to do it one more time, and I'm going to show you what it looks like if I just import it without doing that. Okay. If I just do Use as Texture and I click on this thing, whatever size I draw it as a rectangle is what size it's going to show up. So I can make it look as realistic or unrealistic as I want to do. But really what we want to do is we want to see the image of what it looks like, the actual size it's going to be. So that's what we want right there. Okay, so that's pretty simple, right? That works pretty easily. Let's look at something a little more complicated. Kelly turned me onto this website. This is so wonderful. So I've chosen this image right here for my material. Well, it doesn't tell me what size that is. How do I know? Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to the gallery and I'm going to look at this image. Now then, it looks to me like that is about, what do you think? 12 inches by 24 inches, maybe 18 by 36. It's something like that. It's kind of a 2 square module. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to move that off over to the other side of my screen. And I really don't know that I want to use that for all of my walls. I probably just want to use it for one. So what I am going to do is I'm going to manipulate this. I'm going to use it on this little short wall right here so that it's not too overwhelming, but it's got this whole wall to work with. And I'm going to, once again, I'm going to grab my guide. I'm going to go from the bottom, and I am going to go up. Let's start looking at it as being 12 inches tall. I'm going to type 12 inches. Now then, I'm going to come from this side, and I'm going to go 24 inches. Okay, so I've got a little 12 by 24 square. I'm going to do the same thing that I did previously. I'm going to go here to Import. I'm going to grab that Batvia thing. I'm going to make sure that I'm using it as a texture. And then I'm going to grab it put it here. Okay, now then, let's zoom in. It looks kind of weird right now, doesn't it? Let's zoom in a little bit and see what we think. What do you think? Looks pretty good, but maybe a little big, you think? Okay, so let's undo that. Okay, and let's undo our guides. And let's draw new ones. Okay, so I think we're going to start with, let's say 8 inches. And let's come in 16 inches. Okay, now let's go back through and get the material, use this texture, click, put it on the wall, click, whoops, where'd it go? Oh, okay, let's undo that and try it again. Import, Batvia, click. We want it right here on this endpoint. We want to go to right there, and there it is. Okay, so let's zoom in again. Gotta wait for my computer to autosave. Still waiting. Okay, so now we're going to orbit around. We're going to deselect over here. Okay, what do you think? I think that looks a lot better. Okay, so really the scale makes a big difference. Let me show you what that would look like if I just stretched it over one wall. Okay, I'm going to go back and grab my Batvia thing again, open. I've got to zoom this in a little different way so I can actually work on that wall. I'm going to click here, and I'm going to zoom back out so I can see the top of that wall. Okay, do you see the difference it makes? I mean, that looks really overwhelming, but this, especially once you zoom into it, really starts to make a lot of sense. Although I have to say I like it really big too, but that's not the scale of the material we're using. So one of the things this allows us to do is to really say, okay, what does this look like? Is this the image I want? Now, what I can tell you looking at this is that I would really prefer to have a different floor, but I'm not going to go into that right now. What I am going to do is I am going to make myself a rug to go on my floor. Okay, okay, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to work on this rug. I'm going to draw myself a rectangle out here. I am going to make it 8 feet by 10 feet, because that's a pretty common rug size. Okay, so now I have an 8 foot by 10 foot square. I'm going to use my push-pull as soon as my machine stops auto-saving. I'm going to grab my push-pull and I'm going to make it 1/2 inch thick. Okay, now then, I'm going to go to Import. I'm going to grab Shag. Now then, if you're using a rug that has an image, you want to use as image. But since this is just a shag rug, I'm just going to use it as a texture. Okay, so now then, I am going to click Open. I'm going to put it right here on my thing, and I'm going to click right there. And now I have a cute little shag rug. Now, I want my shag rug in my space. The first thing I'm going to do to get my shag rug in my space is I'm going to erase these guidelines because they're ugly and I don't want to select them anymore. So click delete, select delete, select delete. Come on, get that last one. Select delete. Now I'm going to grab my shag rug, making sure I've got all the pieces of it, and I'm going to click on move. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom so that I can pick the exact spot I want to pick. Okay, and where I want to pick is I want to pick one of these corners, the bottom corner. Okay, let me show you why you don't want to pick the top face real quick. I'm going to show you how to do it wrong first. Okay, so I'm going to zoom out, I'm going to pan over. Okay, so I've selected the top face and now I'm going to move it over and I'm going to put it on the face here. Hey, it disappeared. I don't want to do that. Okay, so let's undo it and let's do it the right way this time. Okay, so we're going to zoom in, so we can see the endpoint there. Oops. We're going to grab hold of that endpoint right there. use your snaps to draw precisely. We're going to come in here and it's going to say on face, and ta-da, we have a rug in our space. Now, if that's not where we want our rug, we can now grab it and move it over. We can move it in. Yeah, I don't really like the way it's oriented. I can grab the rotate tool and grab it in the middle and click on the face and align the protractor, and then I can rotate it. Ooh, that looks better, doesn't it? If I still don't like where it's placed, I can move it, but I can get it placed in there. And now I'm going to kind of zoom in and I'm going to check that it all looks right. And it does, doesn't it? Okay, so that is the short tutorial on how you scale things in the space. At this point, you know, I've met the project requirements, and that's good enough for me for right now. I think you guys can figure out what you want to do with it from there. Remember, scale is very important to understanding the space and understanding how your materials work. Otherwise, you don't have the reality. And we need that as designers, and we need to show that to our clients. Okay, good luck. I can't wait to see what you do with it. Thanks.